Hello, welcome to the Beginner's Guide to Building a WordPress website. I'm Glenda Shawley from the Training Pack. The aim of this video is to help those of you who are starting up in business or running small businesses with very little money and not-for-profit organisations to get a very basic website online for next to no money. You don't need any technical expertise to do this, and indeed I'm not a techie, so I'm hoping to explain this to you in plain English in such a way that you can get on right away. Now, you may or may not know that WordPress comes in two versions, WordPress.com and WordPress.org. Many of you will be familiar with the WordPress.com blogging site, which is free and hosted by WordPress for non-commercial purposes. In this instance, unless you pay WordPress for an individual domain name, your web address is going to appear as www.whateveryourname.wordpress.com. But you can pay to have an exclusive name. The trouble with a WordPress.com website is, as I say, it's for non-commercial use, and if you start getting a huge amount of traffic, it is possible that WordPress might close you down. Your alternative is to set up a WordPress.org site. Again, the software is free and it can be used for commercial use, but in this instance you will need to buy hosting, so somebody will need to look after your website, and you might look at somebody like Bluehost.com or HostGator or a number of other hosting facilities. You can use your own domain name on this, but it's up to you and your web host to make sure that you've got proper backup for your site. With a WordPress.com site, that is done for you by WordPress, but with .org, it's not something WordPress handle. Okay, so to set up a WordPress.com site, which is what we're going to focus on here because that's the easiest to do, and for those of you just starting out, it may well be adequate. So the first thing to do is to go to www.wordpress.com, and you will then come across a homepage that looks something like this. The photograph here is on a rotating screen, and so you might hit a slightly different picture aimed at a slightly different market, but all of them will have the Get Started button, which you've got down here, and that's where you need to click to get started. Fairly obvious, but let's get on with it. So when you've clicked that, you're going to be taken to a sign-up form to get your WordPress account going. So you'll need an email address, anything that you've already got. I believe there's no problems with Hotmail and Gmail accounts. And then you need to decide on your username. And if building a website is one of the ways in which you're going to establish your presence on the web, you might actually want to use your own name as your username, because when people are searching for you, it's another way in which they're going to find you. So it's increasing your presence on the web. And then WordPress has got a natty tool that's going to tell you how strong your password is. Obviously the best passwords have got a combination of letters, numbers and symbols. And so if you look here on the right hand side, you're going to see whether you've got a good password or not. And you're always going to be able to go back in and change that password later on to protect your site. And then you need to choose an address for your blog. And as I said, this is where you can buy a blog name through WordPress to lose the .wordpress.com description, but you can just go ahead with the WordPress.com website if that's what you want to do, if you're wanting to save money as much as possible. What you will find as you start putting in the web address you want to use, WordPress will be telling you whether or not that domain name is available. Don't try to the same name too often, because you might find that somebody starts trying to charge you more money for that website in due course, because they'll think it's very popular. Okay, and then once you've decided on your blog address, you need to decide which hosting that you want, and we're going to work here on the free website. So you would just need to go to the Creating Blog rather than the upgrade. But you might decide, have a look at what WordPress is offering. You might decide that it's worth paying for the extra facilities that you want. Okay, but remembering that with a WordPress.com site, there is a limit to what you can do with the website. So if you want to add in some additional features like plugins from other sites, such as perhaps a sign-up form that takes people to your newsletter sign-up and your email host, you wouldn't be able to do that within a WordPress.com site. So it's not really worth paying for that facility on here. You can do that in WordPress.org with your hosted site. So once you've clicked through into your WordPress site, you'll get taken to the dashboard, which is this screen here. And this is where you'll go all the time to be able to see what's happening in your website to make new things happen. You'll see that you can see how many pages you've got, how many posts you've got, and the different categories. And at a glance, you'll be able to see any comments that people have made on your website. And as your website builds, you'll get some stats down here. So you'll be able to see how much traffic you're getting, and clicking through on that will show you where that traffic's coming from. Now, one of the important things that I want you to look at is this column here on the left-hand side, which is where you're going to control all the extra things that you're going to do with your website. So if we have a look here, I've just lifted that bit out, and the first thing that you're going to do, having set up your website, is to choose the look for your website. What do you want, what sort of image do you want to convey? And so we go here to click on Appearance. Now, as you'll see, when you click on Appearance, you'll get a drop-down menu, and the next topic is Themes, which is what WordPress call the look of the site. And you'll get a whole host of choices there, including the popular ones and the premium sites, which you'd have to pay for. Have a browse through those, because there are so many to choose from, and you need to be finding something that is really right for the image you want to convey of your business or your organisation. So there are a few things to think about when you're choosing your theme. First of all, have a look for themes that you can edit. You're looking for words like custom headers, custom sites, custom colours, those kinds of things. You need to think about what the purpose of your site is, so that you can choose something that allows you to showcase whatever it is that your business or organisation does. So a photographer will want a different look to a site to somebody who's trying to showcase their knowledge and experience perhaps, and use more text. And think also about what image you want to convey for your business or organisation, because there are lots of different opportunities to do that with the different WordPress themes. There's a huge variety of themes. As I said earlier, WordPress have free themes and premium themes. You probably don't need to pay for a premium theme at this stage, because there are so many options within the free categories. But spend a little bit of time choosing what you want for your business. And so then you need to go into your theme once you've chosen it and edit your theme. And you have to activate it before you can personalize it. And WordPress leads you through that, so you can start uploading your own photographs and your own text, etc. at this point. And then WordPress gives you the opportunity to add in all sorts of different features to your website. And this is without even paying for plugins and the like. So for instance, if you have a Twitter account or a Facebook account, you can add those into your homepage on the WordPress site. And what you do is you open Widgets, which is the second drop down from the Appearance menu, and that will give you all those boxes in the center there, and you need to take your cursor to whichever one of those you're interested in using and drag that onto the main sidebar to the right hand side to include it on your site, and those features will then add into your home page. So then we need to be getting into your content. So think about first of all, who your target audience is, who are you writing for, and what do you want them to do once they've written or read your content. What's the purpose of your site? Back to that question again, being really clear about what you want people to do. So is it a brochure site that people are going to visit once they've met you? Is it supposed to be bringing in new inquiries? Do you just want to convey information to people to perhaps back up other things that you're doing as part of your marketing? So what do you want the site to do for you? And really, is it a blog or a website or a combination of both? And remember that whatever you're writing is about your reader, not you. WordPress gives you an About You page, and it's okay to indulge a little bit in that one and talk about who you are and what matters to you. But for the rest of your site, it should really be about your reader's interest, and remembering that you've probably only got 3 to 7 seconds to keep somebody on your website if you haven't caught them and their interest right away. So be looking at perhaps some questions that engage your audience, be very clear what they're going to get from the site right away. And as you can see here, you can add pages so that you can follow different themes through. So it might be that you've got different services that you want to talk about, or perhaps you've got different topics that you want to talk about, and you might want to have a different page for each of those so people can easily find your content. It's a bit like having your website, or a typical website, with all sorts of different pages with the different services on. But remember, you've got 3 seconds or somebody will be off your website and onto somebody else's. So WordPress.com is primarily a blogging site, and you'll find that your front page, or your home page, will come up under posts, so on the top there underneath the store and dashboard. The way it's designed is that that's the first page you edit unless you choose to go elsewhere, and that means that your home page becomes dynamic, changing each time you post something new. That's a consideration that you'll need to make. You can obviously leave it unedited, but one of the beauties about editing is that you're increasing the search engine optimization. Google and the other search engines like websites that have something happening to them. They don't like something that remains static forever. So building your website is not something you do and forget about, it's something you do and then you keep it up to date, perhaps adding in more news or different services, or just tweaking it to show that something is happening on there. And then you can add in the additional pages here. As you see, you can show all of the pages you've got, and those will show up on the right hand side here. And you can add in new pages, and you can have sub pages as well, so that you can write more about a particular theme. So perhaps if you have a page that is about your services, you can give an overview, and then you can have a sub-page that goes into detail about each separate page. And when you come to editing your site, you can add in pictures and video, and you do that by using the ribbon, which is across the top here, like you would do in Word. In fact, if you'll see on there, you've got a little box that will blow it up. So if you find the small screen too hard to work with and doesn't give you an overview of what your screen will look like, if you click on the whole screen, you can work in that and then save it. You will need to upload your photographs into WordPress to be able to add those in, or to be able to find links to things online. And obviously you need to be careful about copyright and only using things that you have permission to use. When you have written your content, down the right hand side here you will see your categories, and beneath that there's a word called tags. Now you need to add in categories and tags for each of your articles and pages, just so that they get found by people searching in Google and the other search engines. And so think what categories people might actively be searching for if they were looking for what you have on your website. And then you need to think about when to publish. As you'll see at the top here, you can save a draft and you can then go back to it and work on it again, or you can publish immediately so that people can instantly access it on your website, or you can set it up to publish at some stage in the future. And that's particularly useful if you're using the site for blogging and you want to have lots of articles coming out, and maybe you sit down one day and write a whole load of articles that you want to distribute over the course of a few weeks. You can set those up in a logical order to appear as and when you want them to. So that's basically getting your website online. And good luck with that. Now, just to give you a little bit more information about WordPress.org, which is your other option. So the first thing to do is to choose your domain name and buy that. And so go to a site like GoDaddy.com and have a look what is available and at what price. Now, I'm not suggesting that you necessarily buy it here, but you can see what options you've got available. GoDaddy, and there are other providers of this information as well, will show you what versions of the name that you want are available, whether it's a .com, a .co.uk, a .me, a .net, a .org, or anything like that. When you've done that, you need to buy a hosting package, and with some of those you can buy the domain name there, and that's why I'm suggesting you wait before you buy it directly from GoDaddy. You might get a better deal somewhere else. I've found Bluehost to be perfectly reasonable and easy to deal with. And then you will need to download WordPress onto your computer so that you can run your site. And when you've downloaded it, what you do then is point your domain to WordPress, and WordPress will lead you through that so that the two are connected. Your WordPress content management is connected with your domain name. And then, as you did with a WordPress.com site, you would select a theme. Again, there are some free themes or there's some premium themes. And if you wanted to do something like setting up a sales page or a squeeze page, you might use a particular theme like OptimizePress.com. And then you go ahead and build your site as before. And as I said, for sales pages, try OptimizePress.com, which comes with a number of different layouts and all the buttons and the buy nows and everything that you need to do to persuade somebody to buy from you. So that was a basic introduction to WordPress. I hope that you found it useful, but if I can be of any further help, you can contact me via my website at thetrainingpack.co.uk. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you again soon.